roots of Australian rock. Here we give tribute to my peers, the guys who were around at the same time as when I started, the guys who were on bandstand, 6 o'clock rock and all the different shows. Up to 1956 there was no rock and roll at all here. The only dances around were like 60-40 dances, ballroom dancing, and then a movie band called Black Boy Jungle. Once that came, that started the whole thing happening because we heard the song Rock Around the Clock, which the guys are playing now, and that started the whole thing. All of us, in fact, well, quite a few of us decided to let's get little bands together and see what we can do, because we just love that music and we love the dancing and all that, so we started dances. And there were a few guys around at the time. One of the first bands was Alan Dale and the House Rockers, and then there was a guy called Ricky Millen and the Brothers. I had a little rockabilly band, and there was Kevin Jacobson and his trio, well, later on his quintet. But there was one particular guy who nights. This guy got a band together, they called themselves the DJs. What was his name? Johnny O'Keefe. He recorded a song that was written by Bill Haley, and he became the first Australian ever to record it. And this is that song. 1, 2, 3, 4. You hit the wrong note, Billy, don't. Why must you be? Don't silly, don't. Why can't you see that I'm your honey? I want to talk about love. You hit the wrong note, Billy, don't. You treat me like a backwoods porcupine. You never seem to know what's up. I want to talk about love. Last night, the night before, you wouldn't let me kiss you at your front door. And every time I hold your hand, it never seems to work out the way that I think. Don't really go, why must you be? Don't simply go, why can't you see that I know how to go? I want to rock with love. Silly go, silly go, silly go, silly go, silly go, the wrong note. Everywhere, and every time I get the chance, it never seems to work out the way that I planned. Don't really go, why can't you see that I know? Why can't you see that I know? I want to go talk about love. And then a little bit later on, he recorded this one here too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me, darling, will you be mine? I really love that chick. I really love her. I know I'm gonna tell her that I really, really love her. You gotta love her, never let her go. Never let her go, 'cause she's so tough. That's why I love her. Oh yeah, she was a tough chick. She came from out of Rudy Hill. She was a witchy. Oh yeah, really tough. So tough. Well, one of those bands, the Kevin Jacobson trio, they were from East Hills, and he decided to bring his brother, well, both brothers in, one playing the bass and the other one singing. and they changed their name and they became called Joy and the Joy Boys. Remember that? Dances, he had lots of dances all around the place, especially in the western suburbs. And one of the songs that he used to do, one of his favorites at all the dance halls, was this one. The night was clear and the moon was yellow and the leaves came tumbling down. I'm standing on the corner when I heard my bulldog bark. They were standing in the corner. They were Staggerly and Billy, two men who came away. Staggerly threw 7, I'm Billy 4, that he threw away. He started recording in one of his first big hits. In fact, the first big hit that he had. No, it wasn't. It was the second hit. The first one was Bye Bye Baby, and this was the second one. Big hit. Malabar, and his manager one day came up to the manager of the butcher shop, came up and said, listen, you sing a little bit, this rock and roll sort of stuff seems to be coming in. Why don't you start a band and we'll see what we can do. I'll manage you. You know, I manage the shop well. And he said, yeah, okay, that sounds a good idea. So we got a little band together. They called themselves the Rebels, and he called himself Johnny Reb. And they took this one right to the top.
Bring
Well, unfortunately, we have to announce, and maybe some of you already know, that just last week Johnny Redd passed away. He was 79 and he had emphysema for quite some time, and he got to the point where Saturday he couldn't breathe. They went to the hospital, and unfortunately everything started breaking down, and he was taken off life support on Saturday. It's a great shame because he was one of the true pioneers. He had lots and lots of songs. That's just one of them. That was the first big one. But he went to America and he did some stuff in America on the labels that Buddy Holly recorded for, and he was a really nice guy. He was named the Gentleman of Rock and Roll because he always wore a suit and a tie and always looked really, really nice and clean. And he was a gentleman of rock and roll right up until the last thing. We all saw him just quite recently, and we knew that he wasn't well, but we didn't expect this to be so soon. But unfortunately, rest in peace, dear Johnny Redd. And in honor of that, I want to do that song again for you. Hey, 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 sure. Open up the jail. We got a former posse. And we're on the trail. Hey, 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 sure. You gotta be around. There's some dirty horse thief. Done stole my girl, stole my girl, stole my girl. The beast was a handsome cowboy in a cotton hot rod car. I can tell he was a lady killer by the notches on his guitar. I reached for my ukulele, but the stranger was too quick. He sung his song and stole my gal before I could get it out. Hey, 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 sure. Open up the jail. You got a former posse and get off the trail. Hey, 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 sure. You gotta be around. There's some dirty horse thief done stole my girl, stole my girl. You know, in America they had lots and lots of groups because of the gospel singing and all the different types of church singing over there, and barbershop quartets and all that stuff. They were very, very used to having lots of guys sing together. And out here we really didn't at all. It really wasn't until I guess the television rock and roll came through, and 6 o'clock rock, and they needed backup singers for us guys and the records we made. So the different guys got together, and there were the Graduates and the Flanagans, who would then call themselves the Fawns. There were the Crescents and the Sapphires. But one particular group really stood out, and they were from Bronte. And they used to rehearse in the toilets in the Bronte Surf Club. And I'm not sure when they were using them, I think when they were just rehearsing. And anyway, a guy called Noel Weidenberg, unfortunately, he passed away also many, many years ago. He started it, and he got this big, tall, lanky dude, had a deep voice, because we all know Ian Pee Wee now. And there was Brian and Warren, and they were the first in the major Deltones. And they had lots and lots and lots of hits, including this one here, which is one of the ones that we love. Come a little bit closer, and you will see. I was waiting for you, dear, and you were meant to be a little stronger as the years go by. Let love last longer, the stars in the sky. A daffodil can't fade to die. A flowing river sometimes runs dry. The sky is blue and turns to gray, but my love for you is here to stay. Come a little bit closer, and you'll see. Yeah, you'll see. I was meant for you, dear, and you were meant to be a little bit stronger as the years go by. Little love lasts longer than the stars in the sky. So be my love, and I'll be true, darling, forever. I'll cherish you. You'll share my dreams, you'll share my heart, and come what may, we'll live apart. Come a little bit closer, and you'll see, yeah, you'll see. I was meant for you, dear, and you were meant to be a little bit stronger as the years go by. Let love last longer than stars in the sky. There were lots and lots of different people got up and were doing everything and became very, very famous too. No doubt about it. People like Booker Hyland. Remember Booker? Yes. Booker Hyland and Kevin Todd, and of course Laurel Lee and Paul Wayne. And there were just so many of these guys around the place. There was one guy that even called himself Star. Lucky Star. Lucky Star, of course. Well, you know, Lucky, he had one really, really big record. It was just a monster record. It was taken overseas, but unfortunately, Hank Snow over there, who was a very, very big country music star, they changed it all around and put American words to it, and he took it up the top and it went triple gold and platinum and all that stuff, but unfortunately, Lucky didn't collect on that at all. But he had a monster record here. But I'm not going to even attempt to do that one. There was one particular song that he used to do, not all the time that he went on television, but certainly some of the time. This was a great Roy Orbison classic. Hey now, you better listen to me, every one of you. We got a lot of work to do. Forget about your woman and that water can. That ain't we're working for the man. You see, it's all gonna be your mind. Yeah, I'm gonna be the man. Gonna be the man. Gonna be the man. when we were doing our thing over here over in New Zealand, that things were happening over there too. There was one really main guy, and he really captured everybody's heart over there. He toured and over again. He was looked upon as New Zealand's Elvis Presley. And he sang lots and lots of Elvis songs and recorded lots of Elvis songs. And even though Elvis's records were on sale and went right to the top, many of the songs that John did that Elvis recorded all the top as well. So he's really, really popular. He came over here in 1959 and he's been over here ever since. But this is the one of the songs that he took to the top over there in New Zealand, a great old Elvis classic. He started writing lots and lots of songs for different people, Little Patty and Jay Justin and the Denvermen and all these different people, Digger Revell, but he also recorded many of them himself. And this is one of the songs that he took to the top that he wrote. Oh, mercy. Just the two alone, a hell of a time and a hell of a time. But she said, it doesn't seem right. Turn the lights out, Johnny. She said that to me. Turn the lights out, Johnny. She said that to me. Turn the lights out, Johnny. She said that to me. But she it doesn't seem right. Turn the lights out, Johnny. She said that to me. Turn the lights out, Johnny. She said that to me. Turn the lights out, Johnny. She said that to me. But she it doesn't seem right. Well, you know, today most of the people that are on the top of the hit parade and you're seeing all over the place are girls. There seems to be more girl singers than guy singers that are up the top up there. It was very, very different back when rock and roll first started. There were hardly any girls at all, just very, very few, maybe 1 in 20 or 30 guys. And here there was one girl. She was the first girl to ever get on a hit parade here, first Australian girl that is, to get on the hit parade here. And this is the little song that she recorded. It was written by an Australian friend of hers. Barefoot boy, sitting by the roadside. Barefoot boy, when you say hello, with eyes that shine and lips that pray for flight. Barefoot boy, I love you so. Barefoot boy, I love you, love you. Barefoot boy. I won't find you until the end of time. I love you so. Then he said a young guy from a place called Dunny-Doo. You heard of Dunny-Doo?
Yes.
Okay, it's not like D-U-N-N-Y. S-T-U-N-D-D-O-O. And it's out there sort of near around Mudgee area. This young guy's father was a policeman and he was stationed there and that's where he was born. And then he was later on taken down to around Narooma down the south coast. And it was close enough to Sydney for this young guy to be able to come to Sydney quite frequently. And when rock and roll started, he came and used to hang around the music stores, J. Stanley Johnson and the different music stores that we hear, meeting different musos and all that sort of stuff. And he met one young guy, a big, tall, red-headed guy, and called John Hayden was his name, and they decided to start a band. So they started this little band and did an audition for Festival Records, actually got in and started recording for a festival record label called Rex Records. And Rex Records was named after a hotel in King's Cross called the Rex Hotel, which was the very, very big hotel before the Hilton or any other big hotels. That was a major hotel here in Sydney. And so they call it Rex Records, and he recorded quite a few songs. This one here was the first big one he had. Now, boy, was it a big one. It was written for him by his brother, and I'm talking about Dig Richards, and this is his big song. Say goodbye. I want to love you each night. Let me say I love you each night and day. Say goodbye. I want to love you each night. Let me say I love you each night and day. That was a very, very big hit, and he used to do lots and lots of dances. Unfortunately, we lost him in the 70s, which is a great shame. Also, a very, very nice guy. All these guys were really, really nice guys. You know, none of us had any, there were no altercations between any of them. I can't remember one fight or one really, really big, heavy argument between any of the guys at that time. They were all really nice guys, came from a nice era, I guess. And we were all competitive, but very friendly as well. Okay, there was another guy that used to perform on Bandstand. He was from the North Shore, and big guy, big bulky guy. In fact, they called him the big bad boy of song. And he was on 6 O'Clock Rock and Bandstand, mainly 6 O'Clock Rock a lot. And in 1961, after 6 O'Clock Rock had been going for a couple of years, the ABC decided to run a contest, who was popular and who wasn't popular, so they knew who to book and who not to book on the show, because they saw this 6 O'Clock Rock going on forever. It had already been going on for nearly a couple of years. Anyway, they research, And all the stuff came in, and strangely enough, I came first. Keith came second, and which is strange because Jock was the MC. And the third one came in, is this guy, the big bad boy of song, Mary Stanton. It's funny how they had different names for different people, you know, the big boy of song and the gentleman of rock and all that sort of stuff. There was another guy who they called the Shy Guy. And he was from Maroubra, around there. He got a little band together, about 1958, and they called themselves the Squares. And he was singing around there for quite some time, got on to Lead On Records, and had quite a few little records. Once again, lovely guy, beautiful guy. He's got a beautiful family too, who are also extremely talented. Warren Williams. And this is the big song that Warren Williams took to the top. He loved opera stuff, you know, maybe not full-time big deal opera, but he liked the operatic style of singing, and he certainly had the voice for that. And Festival Records decided to take advantage of his style of voice. I said, why don't we see if we can find a song that's an operatic song, and so we can do it, we can turn it into a pop song. They did, and they got to #1, and this is it. A star fell from heaven one beautiful night, bringing me glimpse of love from the skies above. A star fell from heaven and showed me the way, how to be content and gay, for it brought me love. It whispered to me, you are wonderful, beautiful, heavenly, and you are mine, dear. A star fell from heaven and showed me the way, that you've been waiting for me. How I thank my stars, how I thank my stars, how I thank my stars. He also used to sing lots and lots of the different songs recorded by Holly and Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, and everybody else. And the group brought this one, and everybody just loved it. All the dances, if you guys went to the dances, y'all look out there, I'm so very, very young, so I'm sure you weren't around at the time. But there were lots and lots of different guys, including myself, that we used to sing this song. 2, 3, go! Clap your hands, clap your hands. Clap your hands if you can. You got the rhythm in your feet, clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands. You dance the bop around the storm. The conga is getting low. Now clap your hands right to the dance and break the finger on the dance. Clap your hands, clap your hands. Now gather round and listen close. This is the dance that is the most. Oh, face to face, you gotta stand and get the victory from the band. Clap your hands, clap your hands. You got to think you're in the groove. Now rock your chin and stop the move. This isn't just rock and roll, it's in the dance for rock and roll. Clap your hands, clap your hands. Away. This is the way to make a plan. Let's get together once again. And if you ever feel the mood, it's in the place I give to you. Clap your hands, clap your hands. Everybody loved that at the dances. Well, I started off in 1956. And before rock and roll, and well, actually rock and roll was just starting, the very beginning of it, and it wasn't any television and all that until when I started in radio, as I sing, as top 40s or top anything really. And I went on a show in May 1956 on 2UW. They ran an amateur hour, and I went on there and I came second to an opera singer, a housewife opera singer. And third was a guy who just come back from the war, and he played the spoons. So he came third, I came second, and this opera singer came first. And this was the song that we did. It was a song that had just been released, Elvis's first big international song that had just been released. Well, since my baby left me, I've got a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonnie Street, that heartbreak hotel. Will make me so lonely, baby. That'll be so lonely. That'll be so lonely. You could die. The bell hot tears keep flowing. That dance called expressive black. But it been so long on the street, they never will come back. So lonely, baby. You'll be so lonely. You'll be so lonely. You could die. You'll be so lonely. You'll be so lonely. You could die. You'll be so lonely. You'll be so lonely. You could die. Okay, just take one or two listening up. Here it's really out of tune. Through all the different eras, because as we've gone through maybe every 5-7 years, there's a whole new era. Young people come up who were too young to enjoy the first stuff, but now they're teenagers and they want their stuff, and then that happens again and again and again. So that's why all the different generations, we all have different styles of music and different people that idols that we like and dislike. But no matter how many of those that we go through, if you're talking about rock and roll, you're talking about an industry, a music industry and how it all started, you've got to go back right to the very, very beginning, to when we started back there in the mid 50s. And there was no managers, there was no producers, there was no anything. We carved our way through like missionaries through the African forest, and to make an industry. And we did, and it's one of the best and biggest in the world now. But the guy who was the top then, he was the king of rock and roll then, and right up until he passed away, he was the king of rock and roll, and we still refer to him as the king of rock and roll. And this is one of his very, very early songs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You got my heart really rocking. You leave my knees a weak and knocking. You put a shaking in my hips. You put your kicks in my lips. Oh, don't ever, you excite me. You got a twinkle in your eye, and the way that you can die makes me wanna hold you tight. Oh, wanna make a look at nothing. Johnny O'Keefe. One of the first dances in Sydney was in Newtown, a place called Mawson's Hall, looking down on Newtown Station. And after the dance one night, and John was there with his band, the DJs, a couple of the guys were looking down and they saw a couple of the guys down there with the slick back hair, the bodgies. And they were having a little bit of a tussle. And they said, boy, they're pretty wild here tonight, you know. And they got home and they had a few drinks and they decided to write a few songs. They wrote a few songs and came up with one that turned out to be a fantastic label for Johnny O'Keefe. And we all refer to him as this, a real wild child. Well, I'm just out of people like I'm real cool. Gotta shake, gotta be alive. I'm a real wild guy. Baby, I'm a real wild guy. Baby, I'm a real wild guy. Baby, I'm a wild one. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. But I'm a real, I'm gonna keep a little while. I'm gonna keep it a wild one. Okay. As we go back there and we appreciate the fact that he's the king of rock and roll, this is the song that he made the anthem of rock and roll for Australia. Whoa! Very good rehearsal. Now, rehearsals are usually not as good as that, but you've really done well. So this is it, okay? Whoa! 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 Whoa!